Welcome, everyone, to the Never-Ending Random Discussion. We are back again to talk about things. Today's hosts, of course, starting off with me as myself, being Andrew.
I'm John Zander.
James.
Charlie.
Both of those last two were Jackson's. I don't know why they left the last names off, but I left my last name off. John Zander has a presence, so he has to say his last name.
Plus, I mean, John Zander, that's...
I've got a cool last name.
It does. It is definitely a good last name. Mine's Reisenhuber. It's not cool. It's just weird.
It's just German.
Yes.
Sounds like he's sneezing.
Too German.
Or like a hovering vacuum.
Yep, that's what I always got. Yeah. All right, and so off we go. Crytek isn't even paying its developers on time.
Yeah, things are going bad in the land of Crytek. Apparently, they can make a really good engine, but they can't monetize it worth shit. The sequel to their big Xbox One launch game has apparently been dropped. They've had a bunch of people quit. They've eventually basically been bleeding staff for months. And yeah, things are going very badly in the land of the Crytek. And they're not even able to pay their employees on time.
Wow.
Kotaku had a really big story on it, and it's actually worth reading because it sounds like that company is going to no longer be a company soon. I just really hope that their out isn't getting purchased by EA.
Yeah, which seems to be the thing. You know?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to go away, EA. Side note, we are recording a podcast while myself is on call for work. So normally we have a please silence your cell phones rule, but I can't on this on-call phone. So it may ring, and I have to answer it, and then I might disappear. So just a warning on that you might have a 3-hosted podcast at some point during this recording.
Look forward to it.
Well, just pretend you're really quiet.
Yeah.
What do you think, Andrew? Andrew, why the silent treatment?
Andrew, why are you just nodding your head like that?
They know that's not true.
Well, that's if we actually are able to get the video out this time.
We're doing video trials. Take 2. Maybe you'll see
This time with a tripod.
Yes. Man, the tripod's going to make the difference.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So Crytek's going under. It's not surprising. I don't hear much about their games much, and I don't hear much on the games that run their engines much.
Basically, all I ever hear from about things from Crytek is, will it run Crysis?
Yeah, they've developed a benchmarking company, essentially.
Yes, exactly. I mean, when you hear people talking about the great games to go out and play, I've never heard somebody put Crysis on their list. It's always on the list of pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is pretty. I'll give them that.
And when you're going up against stuff like Unreal 4, I mean, that's fucking pretty too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is Far Cry 3 Crytek?
I believe it does use the Cry engine.
I think it is. I think that one is, yeah.
What engine are they going to use if they go under? Gamebryo?
No, hopefully
Unreal.
Ubisoft will just buy them out.
I'm joking. That's a terrible engine.
Yes.
Oh, God. This next one tickled me so
I
much.
love this one so much.
So, we've all heard of the new Seth Rogen and James Franco movie. Name, I cannot think of it.
If they don't rename it to Act of War, I will be very disappointed.
Yes.
That's a way better name anyway.
Yeah,
Probably
apparently Kim Jong-un
yes.
is pissed off because the movie's basis is these two get recruited by the CIA to assassinate him, which I can understand why he's mad, because most movies, when they are after assassinating a figurehead, it's not an actual figurehead unless it's like Hitler, you know, or Saddam, or like, you know, the notorious villains of our time, where, you know, Un and his father are basically laughingstocks of the world. But yeah, apparently they're going to start shooting faulty rockets at us again.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know what the Indian Ocean is going to do.
I don't know, but he sure seems Kim Jong unhappy.
That's the only reason he put that in there.
Honestly, all you need to know about this story is the headline. North Korea says Seth Rogen's new movie is an act of war.
Yes.
I tried reading deeper. It wasn't worth it.
No.
It's 5 to 10 paragraphs of that's exactly what you expected, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
Now, big question is, will our government get involved?
It would
Why?
be really funny if we went to war with a country over a Seth Rogen movie.
Pineapple Express wasn't that bad. You don't have to kill us for it.
I just want our president to be
You
like,
are insulting a national treasure,
Yeah.
sir.
Seth Rogen's a national treasure.
And he's Canadian.
No,
Yeah, he is.
not anymore. We
He's-
adopted him. He's
Yeah,
ours now.
he's ours now. Going to war for a Canadian.
He can never go back.
Well, that was fun. So the Supreme Court says that police must have a search warrant to search your phone now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
About fucking time.
I actually hadn't realized that wasn't a thing.
Yeah. The police have basically been saying it's the same as searching your pockets. Because, they don't have to get a search warrant to search your pockets.
They need a search
the
warrant
reason-
to search your computer at home, and that's the same thing, but it's in your pocket.
Yep. The reason that the Supreme Court had originally said you don't need a search warrant to search someone's pockets is because there could be a gun in there. There can't be a gun in a phone yet.
I would say it's not can't, it's just no one's developed it.
But actually what's really surprising about this, and trying not to get political at all, but it was a unanimous decision.
Yeah, 9-0.
Yeah.
Huh.
I can't recall the last time that something...
Well, I mean,
was
think about it. All politicians
unanimous.
have something to hide.
Well,
So-
yeah, but these aren't politicians. These are permanently appointed judges. They serve for life. They don't have politics anymore, or at least they shouldn't.
It's true.
And so the fact to see a unanimous decision from the Supreme Court on something as important as this is really good. I mean, I wouldn't expect the Supreme Court to be unanimous about puppies are cool, man.
Well, you might have cat people. It's fucking weird.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Cats are great.
Half this room are cat people. It's really sad. Okay. Cats are bad!
Well, thanks to a certain small dog, I'm about 50-50 now.
Yeah, well, my dog's awesome. So I actually don't know what this is, so John, please lead in.
Okay. The other thing the Supreme Court decided on the same day, I think might actually have just as far-reaching consequences in the long term. Aereo was a company that set up racks of antennas and racks of hard drives and allowed you to subscribe for a very low monthly fee to, say, New York City's public TV, the stuff that goes out on the airwaves.
Sure.
And you could subscribe to that, and you would have your own antenna, your own hard drive, your own little computer chip. Everything was for one person. That if 500 people chose to DVR The Voice, there would be 500 copies.
Mm-hmm.
Each person got their own copy. And they were doing that because they were saying that this is functionally the same as if you had this equipment in your living room, because having this equipment in your living room, completely legal.
Sure.
It's free service that you are putting on a DVD and sending across a cable to your TV. They're just saying, well, we have a longer cable. The Supreme Court said, no, you're a broadcaster, so you have to pay for the rights. So this is one of those things that I think could eventually end up being kind of scary consequences going forward, with everything moving to the cloud.
Yeah.
They're saying that even if you are precisely, technically replicating the function of something that you would normally hold in your hand, that would be completely illegal. If it's setting on a server and being sent to you, then it's
Please
a
silence your cell
broadcast.
I said it like everybody else still needs to, except for my one phone. And
I
he
love the
completely
expression.
disregards the requirements, which
But-
I almost threw it.
But so they're saying if you're taking something that would be legal in your home, but having that happen on a server rather than in your home, that's considered a broadcast now. That could have really far-reaching consequences. I mean, that could...
Netflix.
Well, Netflix already pays for the rights.
Yeah, that's true.
They're already governed as a broadcaster, so it doesn't really affect them so much as this could very easily affect services that don't really exist yet. With things moving further and further from you have multiple things in your house that do multiple things to you have one thing that does those multiple things, and all of the stuff actually happens at the cloud, this could change it to where that stuff can't really happen in the cloud anymore.
Yeah.
right now there's real consequences to anyone but Aereo.
People with digitally purchased movies that store them on the cloud for access everywhere. Like people that do hard copy digitals. I know that's kind of weird. Like not using Vudu or whatever to stream it from their servers, but have it on your own cloud server. That would technically fall into that, I think.
I don't know. If you were to go and buy space on Amazon Prime, on Amazon S3, and stream that to your home, I think that you'd be fine. I think this is really more of a way of saying these are free public airwaves. You're trying to make a profit off of them. Don't. But there could be some really big implications going forward.
Possibly bad things could happen.
Exactly.
Maybe somehow in the future.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same basis of his rant on T-Mobile last week.
Yeah.
It's great now, but it could mean bad things. The essence of net neutrality.
It already does mean bad things. You just don't want to see it.
We still haven't mommed about that. Alright, Google upgrades their glass, but apparently they kind of left the Explorers in the dust.
Yeah, see, this is one of those things I'm kind of torn on. I can see where they're coming from. They don't want to provide a free update to every user, probably because they're planning on doing a series of small updates. But when you're paying $1,500 for the device, there's a couple things you're paying for. You're paying for R&D, just plain and simple. And previously, the justification had been, last time they did a hardware refresh, they sent them all out to the Glass Explorers. Everybody got a free update. Now, they did call that a one-time update. But still, they're saying, we believe that the device needs literally twice as much RAM as it already has. And so that's what we're releasing. They're saying right now that's not going to affect the functionality of the device. Your existing device will still continue to receive the same updates. This just makes it run a little faster. I don't see how they're going to be designing for a device with 2 gigs of RAM and then expecting it to run the same on a device with 1 gig.
Yeah. Doubling it. Yeah.
If I could send my existing unit back and then spend $500 to upgrade to the next one, I'd be okay with that. That would not bother me at all. But the fact that I would then have to purchase another one at another $1,500 with no surety as to when the next small incremental upgrade will happen, not so much.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up.
I mean, I understand the same thing. I bought a $1,500 MacBook and now there's a new MacBook. Why can't I do that? Well, you kind of can. The resale value on my glass unit just went way the hell down.
Mm-hmm.
That's
true, but Macs resell really good.
Yeah. So you can say, the S5 came out, and now the S5 Prime, or whatever the fuck they're calling it, just came out. Why don't I get a free upgrade? I can see where that's coming from.
You do if you're on T-Mobile.
Yeah. Exactly. And like T-Mobile, I'd like to be able to use my existing device as credit for a further one. And, with the amount of uproar I'm seeing on the internet, it wouldn't surprise me anymore to see that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of really pissed off Explorers.
Yeah.
Especially with how bad the last few updates have been. And glass is becoming really paperweighty. I'm not even wearing mine today. Sometimes it'll work great for a full day. Sometimes you'll turn it on and it'll go 100% to 0 in 20 minutes. The battery will just completely drain. Sometimes it'll get stuck in a boot loop for a few hours. Sometimes you'll say a voice command, and a minute or two later it'll actually launch the app. Sometimes it's right away. This last XE18 docked series has just been shit.
That's probably where they came to that conclusion of the memory thing, because they wanted to keep going.
And then they announced on the second day of I.O. that there's going to be a really big update to Glass coming soon, where all of the features that Android Wear has are going to be mirrored on Glass. That's really cool, but that also makes me think, is there enough power in Glass to really pull that off, or is this going to be another feature? There's air quotes for audio listeners. Is this going to be another feature that just slows the device down more and makes it even further from usable?
Makes sense. Honestly, my personal feelings is that I don't know that Glass is going to survive into its own releasable product.
I think Glass will be its own releasable product. I don't think it's going to be for another couple years.
Probably not.
right now, Russell Holly on Connectedly, which is Android Central's wearables website. Russell Holly wrote a really good piece about how Android Wear, which we will be talking a lot about later in the episode, Android Wear is kind of a intermediate step. A lot of the functionality that Glass already has is going to be on Android Wear. It's just a step further away from your face and doesn't have a camera yet.
Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about it later, but yes, there's I've got thoughts on the fact that stuff.
Stuff.
Alright, so Glass.
Boy, if I would have planned this out in advance, I would have made that a segue.
Right. So Facebook and Twitter ads aren't just annoying as fuck. They also don't fucking work.
Yep. According to Gallup, which is, a trustable source, they basically don't even register. 5% of Americans say social media advertising has a great deal of influence on which products they buy.
Yeah, I don't think internet advertising as a whole works, but...
To be honest, there is one form of advertising that has caused me to buy a product in the last 2 years, and it's actually been podcasts.
Yeah.
It's been, when they do the 2-minute talkie roll at the beginning, I've actually bought quite a few services off of there.
Yeah, I've actually considered the food one.
NatureBox?
NatureBox.com.
I'll let you know how that is.
Yeah.
Because I just signed up for it last week.
Yeah, I've been curious about NatureBox. You guys are getting free plugs right now. I tried to sign up to get advertising from you guys, but no. You're going to get free stuff now. And
that'll show them.
And Audible, I've been really tempted to get back into.
Audible, I had initially signed up for Audible. Didn't really get that much value out of it back in my Droid X days. I started listening to podcasts, and I kept hearing about it, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll sign up. And I've been a paying member for a while. There's a few others. I guess technically you could say Hulu. Hulu Plus, because I do subscribe to Hulu Plus, but that's probably going to go away because it's really not that great of a service.
It's not. Yeah. You know how much I want to start this podcast with? This podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. And I want to do that, but no! Jerks. People like us. People listen. That's advertising for you.
But honestly, that's the only form of advertising I've seen that works. YouTube advertising, occasionally, I've actually stopped and watched a full thing. But mostly it's because I've already heard about the trailer somewhere else. Now, organic social media, not like the ads that get tossed into my feed. But when I actually hear people talking about it on social media, I'm drastically more likely to go see a movie, read a book, play a game.
That's the trust value. Right?
But when I'm scrolling through Tumblr and I see sponsored, I keep scrolling.
Yeah.
When I'm scrolling through Twitter and I see sponsored tweet, I keep scrolling. I don't care about any of that shit, and it's almost all incredibly low quality advertising. If it was, something that was actually interesting that I want to get involved with, and wasn't just these half-assed hashtag attempts that always end really badly for the companies, maybe, but right now it's not that.
Oh, hashtag campaigns.
When I see that stuff on my home page, it just feels invasive. Like I didn't sign up for you to be here. You're not supposed to be here.
I actually Tumblr, before Yahoo bought them, I was actually feeling really scared for their future because the number of sponsored posts were just going through the fucking roof, and I'm like, oh god, they have to put a sponsored post every third post. I'm doomed. This system's going away. Luckily, they got bought out by Yahoo.
So that system went away, sort of.
Sort of, yeah. Now it's only every 1 out of every 30 posts, which is completely reasonable.
Yeah.
And most of them aren't even sponsored. You might be interested in following this jackass.
Which I didn't mind, actually.
No.
It's kind of cool, because it was hey, I saw you search Doingo Boingo one time. Here's a...
Oingo Boingo!
Yeah, Oingo Boingo. I didn't expect this, but here it is.
Alright, so last topic to round up this segment here. Man gets trapped in giant vagina in Germany because... It had to be Germany, didn't it?
It really did have to be Germany.
And I said because of how it was spelled.
Yeah, I couldn't. I had no spelling that day.
So yeah, I saw this. Everybody saw this. Big internet sensation of a little Asian man that from America, Asian-looking man. Don't get me wrong, he might not have actually been Asian. Hanging out of this giant sculpture of a vagina, and the fire department taking him out. George Takei made a big thing of it. It was hilarious. We all laughed, yeah.
If it had to be anywhere in the world, I'm glad it was Germany, because Germany is always funny.
Yeah, but it was an American who did it.
Yes.
It's like, Germany, you have giant vagina statues. We're going to stick ourselves in it.
Because it had to be an American.
America, that's why.
Because we fuck everything.
Well, at least it wasn't Korea.
I bet that American was from Florida.
Korea,
Actually, I wouldn't have been surprised if it was Japanese.
well, no, like
Let's be honest
in
here.
Korea, they have entire parks devoted to penis statues.
That's a dick move.
That is a dick move.
Really?
I'm glad the camera can see no one's going to find it.
Alright, guys, we'll be right back.
That's a sick beat, isn't it? Want to hear more? Of course you do. So head over to headyworks.net and check out Galaxy Labs. He created the track tickling your eardrums right now called Stamina, as well as our title track, Destroyer. You can find info about all his live performances and upcoming releases there, as well as other artists signed to HeadyWorks. You can also find him on SoundCloud and Facebook. That's Galaxy Labs at headyworks.net. Let the wubs destroy your brain.
Welcome back to the never-ending random discussion. Next on the docket, a scientist gets ejected from a classical music concert for trying to crowd surf.
It's the best story. It's the best story. It's actually like a what I think it's the. Of course, I don't have my own link open because professionalism.
Hashtag professional.
Yeah. Okay. It was a performance of Handel's Messiah, for one thing. Not like a rowdy piece of music.
It can be.
Well, clearly.
Not crowd surfing rowdy.
True.
It was supposed to be accessible, informal, and this guy apparently decided to go a little further. He is a Royal Society Research Fellow. Was in London, or works with London or some shit. Has a British connection, but he is, of course, an American. His name is Dr. David Glowacki. And his website is literally glow-wacky.com. So you can tell this guy kind of owns this. You can also go to his website and buy a picture of I will own this shirt. I think it's Handel crowd surfing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Looks like they couldn't handle him. There we go.
Plus one for puns.
You're welcome, everyone.
Alright, so let's move on to non-pun things. Actually, I do want to make one funny laughy. At least I'm funny laughy. Right now, Spokane, during this recording, Spokane's hosting the largest 3-on-3 basketball tournament in the world called Hoopfest.
Hashtag Hoopfest.
Hashtag Poopfest, because I hate this thing. Anyway, the funny thing is with that many people in this city, downtown at one time, anybody that has a Sprint phone is fucked. Because every year, Sprint's network just tanks anytime this happens. Like T-Mobile, we're fine. Anybody with Sprint is fucked because their network doesn't work, and it's hilarious. So, we're going to come down to the real crutch of why we're here today now. We're going to be talking about Google I.O.
I'm kind of frustrated right now, side note, because the website that I used as my source for the first 4 links is down for maintenance right now.
Aw, poor Anantech. That's alright, we have a lot of information about these things without needing the links.
Stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Actually, Shane, I haven't really read up too much on Android Auto.
No, I did, so...
Good, I figured you would. Okay, so Google just announced and unveiled Android L.
Woo!
They're not giving us a number. They're not giving us a name. I hope it's Lollipop. It might be Licorice. Maybe they're going for branding again with Lifesaver.
Oh, hey, that finally. I
that's
was trying
a
to
new
think of some type of sponsored candy or something. I could not think of an L candy to save my fucking life. Fucking Lifesaver. Jesus Christ. And you know what?
I'm a literal Lifesaver.
No, if they do this, and they should, because it's
No.
perfect, because Lifesaver, it is hugely improving.
Yes, for it being such a huge release, yes, I totally agree.
I mean, it blows iOS out of the water. Mm-hmm. The new iOS.
I was listening to a podcast that is run by editor-in-chief of
Monkeys.
iMore.
Oh.
And this guy is literally saying he thinks that the flat design has been done better in L than it has been in iOS 8.
Yeah.
From a professional Apple blogger. And I completely agree. It's flat, but it has a sense of 3D. It has real-time shadows.
Material design.
Mm-hmm. Real-time shadows that actually work. It feels 3D and flat at the same time. It's like, off to one extreme, you've got Microsoft. Mm-hmm. Extremely flat. This is flat, but it also feels much more interactive than any of the Microsoft stuff does. And it just feels more cohesive than the Apple stuff.
Yeah. Even Chris Pirillo, avid, he's objective to anybody that knows him enough, but he's always leaned towards Apple because they've pretty much always done it right. He'll point out their flaws. He hated the icons. He hated this and that and the other thing, but he always uses Apple. He has made that statement that, the Android L is more polished and smooth and good looking and good working than iOS 7 or 8.
Yeah. It started with the cards interface that they started doing in, what was that? Probably Jelly Bean.
Mm-hmm.
Cards really started coming into prominence. Now they've unveiled L, which takes cards to a whole nother level. Everything, all of the apps are cards in the multitasking view. And they all feel very much like a card. They feel kind of like cardstock. And they say that's their model for the physical interaction, is it's supposed to feel like cardstock. There's a 3D effect that makes me think that once parallax displays come into actually working, this is going to be a really cool effect. I would love to have an interface like this on something like an Oculus Rift.
Pardon me, ladies and gents. Andrew, the drink specialist.
Tell me more.
I can just sit here scrolling up and down
You
this
could.
list. And look at how they actually fall away in real time. See how it gets further and back?
Wait, so you're running L right now?
Yeah.
That's
It's a developer
amazing.
preview.
What?
See, they actually get further away.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. That was a pocket call from someone who was not actually calling me in for work, so we can continue.
Success!
That was awkward. I'm not cutting that out.
This is the biggest release of Android since at least 4.0. At least. This is as big of a jump as gingerbread to ice cream sandwich. It creates...
Why?
I'm sorry, with no context, that would sound... Well, I don't have context.
Yeah, I
Sounds
really
hilarious.
wanna-
Think about the jump from actual gingerbread to an actual ice cream sandwich. That's pretty big too. So even out of context, that makes sense.
I want a gingerbread ice cream sandwich. That would be amazing.
That would actually be completely amazing. It needs to happen.
All right, so it's huge. Yes, that's what you said.
5,000 new APIs. That's a number that sounds really cool out of context, but there's some really big shit happening. Previously, when a developer wanted to make a list of cards, they had to go in and program it all in, and that's why cards interfaces always look different across different apps. Google Plus had its own way of doing it, Google Now had its own way of doing it, and then things from non-Google places had even more wildly different ways of doing it. Mm-hmm. Now there is Card View. You just say, this is a card view, and it gives you cards.
Yay, cards.
So it's going to be much more consistent throughout. Because if you're a developer and you have a way to just say, I want this to be a list of cards, or you can go and hand code in all these other things, you're going to go with the list that just gives it to you.
Yeah.
And it's also going to give you a better experience, too.
And I think the developers are, they're not going to want to stray away from this design so much. Like,
And
I would want to, like, if I had a phone and I had an app, I'd want it to be like the rest. I'd want it to function like the rest of my phone and not be different.
Yeah.
Like, I've got, at least 20 different applications on my phone that work in 20 goddamn different ways, and it's frustrating. And I like that they're coming out with something where developers can walk in and be like, we're going to fit with this theme, and we're still going to give you this great product.
And you can do things that are really exciting new features in the existing layout. I mean, back when Holo was still a thing last week. Holo YOLO. Back when Holo was still a thing a week ago, Pocket Cast was a great example of somebody that took Holo as far as it could. They themed everything. They had options out the ass. But everything is completely within the design guidelines, except this is how nitpicky I can get. Their overflow action button is 100% brightness rather than 50% brightness. Yeah. But this shows, this is how, not only this is how developers should do it, but also watching the talks on it, it's actually going to be pretty easy to take something from Holo to Material.
Good.
It's not that different, it's a big departure, but it doesn't really look all that drastically different. Like, if you had a gingerbread app running on an ice cream sandwich phone, you looked at that and went, yeah.
Safely.
Oh, God.
They've upgraded since then. It doesn't look that much better, but it doesn't look that much newer, but it does look a hell of a lot better.
It's not hideous anymore. Basically, it looks a little different. The Google Plus app is the best example right now. That's all Material. It's got nice cards. It's got a cool 3D shadow effect on L. On pre-L, it uses pre-rendered drop shadows. That's one of the cool things about L is it actually it renders those shadows in real time.
Of course.
And it somehow manages to render these shadows without taking a performance hit. That's kind of incredibly impressive from a technical standpoint. There's a lot of work around animations. In the Google Search app, when you press the search button and it expands out from that, that's actually an API in L. I keep wanting to call it Lollipop because I was really hoping it'd be Lollipop.
Lollipop,
lollipop,
lolly, 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 lollipop.
Ba-doon-doon-doon.
Great success.
I was waiting for it.
But that wasn't the only thing they announced at the show. They actually announced Android Auto, which I'm kind of interested in, but I have a feeling Andrew is going to be much more interested in it.
Oh, God, I spaced out. What?
Auto.
Android Auto. Yes. Now, it'll be better when the vehicles that have been, or the OEMs that have been partnered up actually start releasing this kind of thing so that these, so that your phones can connect. But Google partnered up with over 40 different OEM companies to include software in their head units of their vehicles to basically pair your phone with the car and give your car all your phone's Android functionality. So navigation, Google Play Music, Hangouts, all this other things tied in with your phone. You don't even have to take your phone out of your pocket. So it's like Bluetooth. It's like your Google Glass. It's like your watch, but instead it's on the screen in your car instead. And it just with, it'll be tied in with the Material design, and it's going to have voice activation and all the fun stuff from what I can read, where instead of a person like me that takes my phone off my holster and I put it into the car mount that I have on my dashboard that occasionally wobbles free and falls down, I'll just sit down and all that stuff is already on the screen. And with the Bluetooth 4.0 LE and all these great technologies, the way that they use for wearables will be also used for your car. And it'll be car mode, blah blah blah. You can tell it to do things and navigate, and it's a fantastic idea that I'm surprised they didn't move forward with sooner than this.
I'm not sure the technology was there. It actually looks to be using kind of like a mirroring setup
Yeah.
as well. I don't know that the technology really was there for that to have been an affordable thing.
Apple's
previously.
doing it.
Apple's doing it. I'm really extremely happy to see that a lot of the car makers are doing both, because that's absolutely how it should be.
Yeah.
Your choice of phone operating system should not dictate your choice of car.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, from a safety perspective, you should have this.
I kind of hope that one of the OEMs is Tesla. Seeing that I'm going to get one.
I would not be surprised if they were. I'm thrilled that Subaru is, because living out in the boonies, that's really my only option.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I need something that's going to be able to do the snow and have decent mileage, so I kind of am required to have a Subaru. Subaru is signed on.
I also hope to see the not-so-OEM people kick into it, so... You know,
Yes.
anybody that's driving a car right now that wants, even like mine, I've got a full double din capability in my Saturn. I'd love one of these. Give Pioneer, give Alpine with their dual din full screen, give them that option.
Yeah.
You know,
And I would be shocked if at least one of those two was not completely wanting to do it right now.
oh yeah,
Because they might suffer from the same thought process that some other OEMs have suffered, like, say, Pebble is a good example. In the watch space, they want to make their own platform and get all the bucks from that platform.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make a platform bigger than Google or Apple can.
That's true.
Microsoft is the only other player in the game right now that has a possibility of doing it. Maybe Amazon? Not really.
It's far too soon to tell with Amazon.
Yeah.
Like they've got a decent base for their Kindle Fires and Kindles and all that, but when it comes to this world that they're trying to jump into, it's a hard fucking battle.
Really, the one thing that Amazon has going for it is the fact that Jeff Bezos does not mind throwing money into something for a decade and not getting any return on investment and running at damn near no profits.
Yeah.
That's his strength.
My strength is no money.
Yeah, basically.
I have a bad accountant. That's my strength.
So, Android Auto, good. So, there's an update coming or has already come down the line to the Google Docs app, which tickles my hiney.
And I don't think it's even the app as much as it is the
functionality of the system as a whole.
the system as a whole. Like, I do believe it's already rolled out. If it isn't, it's going to be real soon, because they seem to be talking about it as a now type of thing.
And it's about time. It's about time that I can get on my computer at home. And
For the
use
record,
my-
we still haven't said what is rolling out. Okay,
I'm
good.
rolling into it.
Okay.
Get home and, hop on, open up Microsoft Word through Microsoft Office, create a document, save it to my Google Drive folder, which I do with all my documents, and be able to go to a web browser anywhere or my app on my phone, be able to open and edit instead of just read-only views because, well, fuck. There should have been that interoperability already.
This is their purchase of Quick Office from last year coming to fruition.
Good.
Because remember they bought Quick Office and tanked its mobile app. I mean, really. But they got all of that interoperability out of that.
Yeah.
And
They
that's
got
all I wanted.
functionality is
That's
what they
all
wanted.
I was hoping for. This honestly makes Docs a much better product as far as I'm concerned, because nothing has an install base like Microsoft Office except for Microsoft Windows. It is far more common to see a .doc extension than anything but HTML or PDF.
Mm-hmm.
And those are both open standards.
Yeah.
The only real closed standard left was doc. And to see it completely interoperable with Microsoft Office is exciting. I feel like Microsoft is probably going to do their best to tank it in their next version of Office.
Of course.
But now that that feature's there, I think Google's going to be much more on their toes to keep it there.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I hope they do. I hope they can keep up with it. Alright, so I'm gonna break my phone. Okay. I want to skip ahead because I don't want to get to the next long topic, so we're going to skip ahead to another one we're going to talk about, which is Samsung upstreams Knox to mainline Android. In related news, hell freezes over and blood falls from the sky.
This is the one piece of news out of I.O. that surprised me more than anything else. Shocked me out of my fucking mind.
The fact that they're bringing Knox to everything?
Well, the fact that Samsung, which is a company that is all about differentiating their products, they're all about bringing in their own things. They're not really that much about sharing those things.
Agreed.
The fact that they took this big feature and then...
Quote, unquote.
Well, it is a big feature. It's a huge feature.
I'll be honest, I don't know what it does other than annoy me when I'm trying to root a Samsung.
It is all about security for enterprise users. Knox lets you have a space for your apps and a space for your company's apps that don't see each other.
Oh.
Your company's apps can't see what you're doing on your phone. You can't see your company's stuff. So their information is private on the phone, and your information is private from that company on your phone. It lets you bring your phone to work and then use it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's huge. And the fact that Samsung upstreamed it and just put it into mainline Android is huge. And I feel like that might have been the thing. Yeah, everybody was speculating.
Well, that they were teaming up to do something and they had to sell Motorola to do it and all that other thing.
When Motorola sold and then they announced the patent cross-licensing, and Google came in and did the amicus brief in the Apple versus Samsung suit. When all that happened, the theory was that what Samsung was getting was that, and Google was getting rid of the UI. It sounds like it's a much closer relationship than just toning down the TouchWiz.
I wish they would.
It sounds like it's much closer of a relationship than that, and it's actually going to be more about, these two huge companies working together, which is only a good thing for Android.
Oh, yeah. And especially for Samsung fanboys like me.
Knox is seeing them upstream like that. If I wasn't waiting for the Moto 360, I'd be buying a Samsung smartwatch right now.
Oh, the Samsung Galaxy Gear Live?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Which
we'll talk about
nobody
that.
was expecting.
We'll talk about that. I'm pushing that one off to the next segment because there's a lot to be said because of hashtag excited. So, I'll just cover this last one. It's great and everything, but it's not a huge... It's more of just a yay moment than a huge topic of discussion. Google finally did what we've all been waiting for, or at least got one step closer to doing something that we've all been waiting for. They finally added the OK Google hot word to their search app so that you can access it no matter where you are, as long as your screen is on, even on the lock screen. I am tickled by that. And as I'm reminded, I've forgotten to check to see if it's accessible for me yet.
I'm also checking.
John
right
will, if John's doing that, he won't be able to explain why that is.
It's, for one thing, really good thing that it's an option still. Had it not been an option, everybody would have freaked the fuck out. Google's always listening to blah, blah. Shut up, Google. I wasn't talking to you.
Not for me yet.
Neither for me. But it's I'm all about the Moto X. I love the voice actions.
Oh, yeah.
At the same time, now that this feature is out, I'm buying an Nexus 5. No question about it. In the next few weeks, I will own a Nexus 5, and with luck, I'll be on T-Mobile.
I'm going to say that I'm still not convinced to be pulled away from my want for the Moto X Plus 1 when it comes out because of the screen off.
The one reason that I am most leery of getting an X Plus 1 is they still haven't rooted the 4.3 or 4.4 updates for the Moto X.
See, but I have no intention on rooting. It's almost all but it's almost all pure anyway. It has all the features I want in it already, and if I get the X Plus 1, it's my work phone.
Yeah.
So
for me, I would still need it. I would still need root, just like for my own personal uses. But yeah, this takes it huge. And L has support for hardware-supported hot words. Like, anything that has a Snapdragon 800 in it has support for the same thing that they did the custom chip in the Moto X for.
Nice.
Where you can just say, okay, Google, shut up again. YouTube, where you can say that and have it, just work.
Yeah.
That, with screen off.
And I'll tell you,
that function is built into all Snapdragon 800 plus chips.
In my line of work,
I told you to shut up.
it Googled shut up again. In my line of work, I use my work phone a lot. A lot. I've got a Bluetooth on my head at all times, y'all can see. And I have to pull that thing out of my pouch and touch the phone and dial. The thing you don't know is I work for the drain specialist, which means we a lot of the times are covered in human feces. Okay, not
That's
a lot
shitty.
of the times, but enough. And I don't want to be grabbing my phone that I touch 24/7, bare hands and normal. It's right here. If during the job, if I need to call a coworker or look up a sewer card or something to that effect, I want to be able to just be doing what I'm doing and continue what I'm doing and call my boss. That's what I want the X1 or the X4. Like, I've looked at Moto X's just to get one now, just to get that functionality, because I like the Note for what it can do for me with sewer cards, bigger screen, and I like the being able to jot a note down. But I don't use those functions very often, where I can still do the sewer cards on a Moto X or an X1. But that voice activation would be fantastic.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is with L, it sounds like that's going to be coming to all Android.
Screen off.
Yeah.
That's because I don't even want
because sure, it's not all Androids. It's just all Androids that run a Snapdragon processor, which means all Androids. Remember back in the day there was Windows and Intel, and that was Wintel. This is totally Qualcomm and Android. It's Qualdroid.
Qualdroid
Or Droidcom.
Ancom.
Ancom actually sounds like a company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
But that's totally what it is it's those two guys. I mean, sure, NVIDIA's doing some really cool things.
Oh yeah, Tegra's cool, but
Intel's doing some really cool things.
yeah.
But it's Qualcomm or GTFO right now, as far as phones are concerned.
Qualcomm or get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's right, motherfucker. Get the fuck out. We'll be right back.
Hey there, fellow geeks. Thanks for taking the time to listen to our podcast. Did you know that the Dracarium offers tech services as well? Do you have a computer problem? Would you like your computer to run faster? Are you looking to finally break away from the boring, lackluster pre-built computers and finally have one that suits you for your exact needs? Look no further than the Dracarium to help. We offer a wide array of diagnosis and repair of your current system and also have one of the most comprehensive and personalized system building processes available. No matter where you're from, we can build you a computer and get it to you. Find more information at celebrategeek.com/services. That's celebrategeek.com/services.
Alright, welcome back. So, we're going to come down to even more nitty-gritty and talk about the thing I'm the most excited about. Android Wear. Well, I'd say released, but it was fully talked about.
It was released. You can buy them now.
You can buy a Moto 360 right now? I thought that wasn't coming
you
out.
can buy the other two.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, then half of what I was excited about is out to buy. If you are into the Samsung Galaxy Gear Live or the LG, whatever it is.
And I don't know why you would be.
Yeah.
It's not the LG one.
I am so stoked by these things. I cannot imagine just how much my life will improve with one. The only downside is, of course, I choose the one that apparently isn't out yet.
Yep.
Because
Me too.
I want the Moto 360. It is perfect. It is circular, which is the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to. I don't like the squares. I don't like them. I mean, yeah, it's well within the realms of technology as it stands, but Motorola said, fuck that. We want a watch. We want it to be watch-shaped. And that's exactly what it is. I am stoked, beyond all stoked. James is laughing at his penis right
Cat
now.
is licking my tablet.
I know, I was trying to draw attention away from the cat.
Yes. And toward James's penis.
Because it's a lot, at least that's funny.
Get off of my pants.
James's penis bad. So,
That's totally what I'm naming my next cat.
James's penis bad? Bad James's penis. Yeah. Just, I can't words how excited I am about these things.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited about it too. I was shocked that Samsung came out with one.
Yeah, one that was actually Android
Yeah.
Wear instead of the Gear.
It really seemed like they were going full out trying to make a platform play with their Gear watches, but
And that ties right back again to the cooperation between the two. You know, there's obviously something going on behind the scenes between these two companies. You know,
yeah. You know, honestly, that with the universally excellent press that Android Wear is receiving, I wouldn't be surprised to see players like Sony or Pebble that already have their own smartwatches jumping on board this. I'd be okay with a Pebble Wear.
Yeah.
You know, because the main problem with the Pebble is, well, the black and white screen, but also their app sucks. It's just bad. And if there's one thing Google can do right now, it's making apps.
That's true.
I'm incredibly excited about it. I'm just like you, most excited about the Moto 360, which isn't out yet. They're saying later this summer, so that probably means quarter 3.
I think John and I will be the first 2 people in Spokane to be buying one.
Yeah, I'm like, my bank account is ready.
Mine will be ready.
Yeah. Just like the same way when a new Nexus comes out and I'm just like sitting there with my finger
Hovering
over
over
the
the
buy
buy.
button. Yeah. Remember the Nexus 4 sold out in 12 minutes?
You were one of them.
I bought mine 16 seconds after it was available.
Yeah, that's what I'll be. Like, once I find the exact release time and date, I'll be hovering over that button the same way.
So, John, have you seen The Internship?
I haven't, but I should.
I'm shocked that you have not. It's the movie about the 2 older people who try and do intern at Google.
Like Idiot and Bigger Idiot?
Yeah.
I can't remember their names.
Luke Wilson, I think, and
Vince. I think
Vince
it was
Vaughn. There we go.
Owen Wilson.
Oh, it was Owen, not Luke.
I think Luke is the
Yeah.
more mature one.
I was
Anyway,
really hoping you would say it was your father.
I saw bits and pieces of it because it was playing on a screen at one time. But it's just such a great step.
Yeah.
I actually recently watched a movie called Paranoia, which was about 2 competing software phone manufacturer people. It was quite interesting, actually. It had Thor's little brother in it,
It's adorable.
Liam Helmsworth.
Yeah, it was lame.
I couldn't remember his first name. I didn't want to just say something like Sam.
Loki.
Loki Hemsworth.
I didn't want to say Liam because I got into a very heated discussion about the Gallagher brothers the other day from Oasis. Liam and Noel Gallagher.
Did they explode watermelons?
No,
Then I'm not interested.
no. Oasis is a very interesting English band where it made up of, like, the 2 leads are brothers who absolutely hate each other and talk nothing but shit about each other to the press.
Interesting.
Yes.
So, I can't wait. My biggest concern, of course, is wearing it all the time. They're not waterproof; they're water resistant.
Yeah.
And I work in a very moist environment.
Mm-hmm. But I've heard of people that have worn them in showers with no ill effects besides the water droplets turning the screen on.
Well, yeah, we do it. My cohort, Blueberry Joe, he's got a Garmin Vivo Fit. We talked about it last podcast.
Yeah.
His, again, it's supposed to be water resistant, and what he does is he just pulls and wraps the glove that we always wear gloves, and he just pulls it over the watch every time, which is what I'll probably end up doing.
Yeah.
The biggest concern I have for these things is battery life.
Jerry Hildenbrand from Android Central, I believe it was him, he set his Gear Live to never turn the screen off. And after 22 hours, it was still at like 28%. That's incredible. That's a full day of use, easy.
Yeah.
And the Gear Live of the 2 has the smaller battery. The Gear Live has a 300 milliamp hour battery.
And when you say of the two, we are just disregarding LG, yeah?
No, the LG and the full specs aren't yet out for the Motorola. We don't know how many milliamp hours it's going to have.
Yeah, it's got a unique charging system too, so...
Mm-hmm. Although that's still not official, but it's been through the FCC. It's going to be Qi. Which is actually how you pronounce QI.
Oh, is it really?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's.
I heard something about magnetic induction.
Yeah, that's QI. It's the same thing that the Nexus 7 and the Nexus 4 have.
Oh.
And I think the Nexus 5, but not the Moto X, which is why I don't use wireless charging anymore.
You know, the first thing I've ever seen or had that actually had that wireless charging capability, maybe not the same, but very similar, Sonicare toothbrush.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've really loved the wireless charging on my Nexus 4. It's a cool feature, and micro USB sucks.
It breaks quickly.
It breaks, it wears out, and it wears out not just on the cable, but on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
My mom's still running a Galaxy Nexus, and you have to prop the cord up.
Mm-hmm.
Because setting on a table with the cord and the phone both on the table, it will fall out.
Nice.
You literally have to prop up the cable.
And put the weight of the phone on the cable so it doesn't slide.
No, that's not too much of a problem. At least not with our current setup. But yeah, it's
I've had quite a few end up that way. James's old Galaxy S2 has USB issues like that.
until the next micro USB connector comes out, which is I think USB 3.1. That's actually going to be a really nice connector. Once that comes out, that problem's going to hopefully be solved.
Yeah,
but it's not solved yet. The closest to solved is the wireless charging, and the best thing about wireless charging going forward is going to be it's waterproof. There's no holes in this device. There's not even induction pins on the device.
Yeah,
and you could do something. You could short out an induction thing if you were working in an environment with like a lot of steel wool. You could get problems out of that.
Oh yeah.
I think as far as I'm concerned, and as far as nearly everyone I've read online is concerned, the 360 is the clear winner once it comes out.
Yeah, I agree from what I've seen. That's the one I want to just up and buy. Like they've got the price point at $249.99.
Yeah,
you know?
And have you watched the hands-on videos for it?
For the Moto X?
Yeah,
or 360.
360, yeah.
Moto. Yes.
It's so smooth.
It is.
Yeah, all of them are incredibly smooth. I was not expecting this level of UI responsiveness out of a first-generation product.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, that's really incredible. It's running Snapdragon 400 chips, which, you know, not incredible. Incredible in that form factor, though.
Yeah.
And, you know, those are power-efficient chips. But they're not even special designed chips. Once we get something like a specially designed chip in a smartwatch, man, these things are going to be fucking beasts.
Beasts?
Beast mode.
Yeah. So, super of the excite. Much wow. So, Google is making another run at television. Again.
This one might work.
Maybe. I mean, they're not... I mean, the Chromecast hasn't died.
The Chromecast has been incredibly successful. If you saw the numbers they released on that.
Yeah, Chromecast is just... It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But this isn't Android TV is what we're talking about, and it's not something to take over for the Chromecast. It's something to try to make another run.
It
like
does
Google
have
TV.
all of the Chromecast functionality.
Well, sure.
In, though.
Basically, what it comes to me in my mind is this is the Chromecast's older brother.
Yep.
Like you can get one phone that does this or another phone that does all that plus more, and that's what you're getting with this Android TV deal. And
it's also Chromecast at 1080p. Which, you know, the existing Chromecast only does 720, and it kind of stutters on that.
Really?
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that.
It's a very well coded 720, but yeah, it's still 720. Damn it, another link to the AnonTech. Oh, I love you, AnonTech, but you're down for maintenance. Bastards.
Stop maintaining on the busiest day of the week, guys. Come on. Haven't you been on the internet before?
Well, at least they didn't do it during I.O.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
But, it's... Not only have they announced it, there's already been big companies that have announced that they're going to be using it right away, including Razer. which is not a company you associate with Android. Not by a mile.
Not at all, yeah.
It sounds like this might actually be what everybody wanted the Ouya to be in the first place.
Ooh, yeah.
The one they were giving away at I.O., the developer toolkit, is apparently incredibly, breathtakingly unstable right now. To the point where you can't even send in a bug report.
Nice.
The bug report force closes.
The bug report is bugged.
Yeah.
The bug report has experience.
But in a telling move, they gave it away with a controller. With a Xbox 360 meets PS1 type controller. It's got the PlayStation thumbs with the Xbox buttons, which seems to be where third-party controllers are converging right now. It's the same layout that the Shield has, but it's got, the home, back, recents in the middle. It looks like it's going to be a pretty legit solution, especially with the chip that's in it right now. The only versions I've seen have had the NVIDIA Tegra K1 chip, which is a complete beast of a chip. It has a Kepler GPU, which is the same GPU that is in the 600 series cards on your desktop.
Nice.
It's the exact same layout. It's not as many of them, but I do believe it's a full SMX. Is that? I'm probably wrong about that, but the processing units, like a top of the line would be 4 of them. This would be 1 of them. They showed it running Unreal 4 flawlessly at 1080p. The K1 chip is a beast, but it's not super power efficient. So everybody's been saying this is going to be awesome in something like a Shield or something like a tablet. It's going to be really nice plugged into a fucking wall, though.
Yeah.
Because it's powerful. It's power efficient enough to set in a tablet, but if you give it unlimited juice, you should still be able to run it with no fan. So rather than worrying about power efficiency, it becomes more about heat efficiency. And this is a very heat-efficient chip. So they've got this little CD case-sized thing that's pumping out graphics that are greatly superior to an Xbox 360. And that's just incredible. And it's probably going to be about $100.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
People get the Ouya they wanted instead of the Ouya they got.
Yep. And when you're seeing it coming from a brand like Razer, that is a gaming brand rather than just an upstart Ouya, which, how the fuck do you even pronounce it?
Yeah.
I think they're going to get a lot more adoption. If a gamer can walk into Best Buy and see Razer's new console at $100, that's impulse buy level. Somebody just takes it, hopefully buys it. It's very pocketable. Buys it, takes it home, plugs it in. This could be a big device come Christmas.
I hope so. I want one.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Oh.
So, another thing on the I.O. that isn't actually on our list for some reason. I want it so much. I want to make one. Google Cardboard.
Yes. You can buy...
Yeah, they've got the schematics online with all the parts that you can buy, and yeah.
I think Dodo Case has already released one.
Yeah, I want it.
Yeah. The best tweet I saw about it is, it's definitive proof that Facebook overpaid for Oculus. I feel like that's almost Google just being like, eh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and there was talks that Android was in development to make one of these that your phone slips into. That was an actual thing, which this might be a lead into, and it might just be this neat little publicity stunt. But it's a functioning thing, so I want it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And I didn't hear anybody saying, "Oh man, this is such a terrible experience." Although I want to put my busted ass Moto X in just to see what it would look like if my eyes were cracked.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. But yeah, it's. Did you guys see this?
Okay, I totally know what this is, but for the sake of people out there who don't, what is Google Cardboard?
Okay, Oculus. Anybody who's familiar with the Oculus Rift? Most people that listen to this are familiar with the Oculus Rift. A virtual reality headset deal. Well, the Google Cardboard is a piece of cardboard that's folded up into the shape of a VR headset with little lenses and everything, and a slot that your
And some
Android
magnets.
phone, and some magnets that works as a switch that goes, and the slot that your phone goes in, and it straps all together. You put it to your face, and they have an app dedicated to this cardboard that you can completely, you operate it like a VR headset. Like, I don't know if there's any games for it yet, but like there are definitely apps, and you can go through the gallery and photospheres and look all 3D and through them, and it's gimmicky, but it looks really fun, and I want to get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, here's a picture.
Yeah.
Wow.
That
looks like a Happy Meal someone gutted.
Yeah, there's actually been people I've seen on Google Plus that have made it out of a pizza box.
Yeah.
Which is awesome because the guy used a used pizza box. So there's like grease spots and everything.
That's how you get ants on your face.
That's funny. So I thought I'd take a trip down Cardboard Lane there, since it's not on our list.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't put that on the list.
Yeah, me neither.
You loser.
Another thing that Google released was YouTube Creator Studio, which lets you basically manage your channel from your phone. I don't know why they didn't just put this into the YouTube app itself.
That does seem like an oversight, really.
Yeah. But it lets you reply to comments, lets you moderate your comment thread, lets you see some really useful channel stats. It's something that's been sorely missing. I can't figure out for the life of me why they didn't just make it part of the main app.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I can see, I have over the last 28 days, I have received 13 views on my channel.
Ooh.
Yeah. For a total of 1 minute watched, and I have no subscribers over the last 28 days, at least.
Moving on up.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, basically adding in something they should have probably already had. The world of mobile is expanding greatly over the desktop, so it makes sense that they finally tag along some of those features that we can do on the desktop into the app.
Mm-hmm. It's I do believe it wasn't even actually announced at I/O. They announced it at VidCon a few days later, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it makes sense to put that kind of thing into a YouTube specific conference, which is what they did.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wasn't expecting this to be them. There's I'm saying a lot.
Stop it.
I know. But why?
Colloquialism.
I was expecting there to be a lot more YouTube at I/O, and I was really disappointed because I love YouTube a lot. But, you know, YouTube does have its own conference that happened to start like the next day, so I shouldn't have been surprised. They actually released quite a few other features, 60 frame per second video being one of them. You can now upload video at 60 frames per second.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And there's apparently some already videos on YouTube at 60 frames per second and no one noticed. That's going to be really cool for game trailers.
Yeah.
You know, if we're talking about a game that we want to see on our computer, it had better be running 60 frames per second, but we've been watching it at 30 frames per second this entire time. That's you know, a kind of pretty big deal. There's and yeah, that was the other feature I was looking for. I was Googling while I was saying that, which is part of why I was confused. They also announced fan funding. So
crowdsourcing for
exactly.
YouTube.
So I've told you before about Subbable, where you get to choose to do that, or Patreon. You've probably heard of. It sounds like they're basically doing that, but as a function of YouTube. Like it would be a button below your video.
Huh.
That's huge. There's a lot of people that are willing to pay for their YouTube content. I would have absolutely no problem paying for something like Crash Course. Actually, through Subbable, I already do. adding that into YouTube is only going to create much better content.
Mm-hmm.
If people can create content profitably without advertising, that is a net win for everyone involved.
Everyone.
Including the advertisers, frankly, because they're just, throwing their money away on YouTube. If I see a video, almost never does it catch me in the first 5 seconds. And if it's one that I'm forced to watch more than 5 seconds of before I can skip it, I'm just angry. You know?
Fuck you, damn glass and Bridgestone tires.
I have to watch this for 15 seconds, fuck.
Yep.
Or you watch a Vivo video and it's, oh god, now I have to watch it for 30 seconds. What is life?
Yep. Volume goes down.
It's
and
the
you just
worst.
And you just wait.
Yep.
When like the ad starts buffering, but your video loads perfectly, so you have to wait the ad to buffer.
Or the ad plays for 4 seconds
Ooh.
and then buffers.
Oh.
Honestly, I think at that point that YouTube should keep the counter going.
Yes.
Like, don't lock us into having no, like, fuck you. Just fuck you.
This is your fault with your,
This is your fault, YouTube. Fix it.
your crappy infrastructure.
What?
Alright guys, well that's been real, that's been fun. We're running quite a bit long now, and so we've got to call it a wrap. There were topics I wanted to talk about that we can't now, and I'm a little aggravated, but there's always next week. So, I don't blame anyone.
There was a lot of
Google
news
I.O.
this week.
talk, man. That's basically what this was going to be. I do thank you all for listening to the never-ending random discussion. Pants pending.